Across the country, many students left their desks and walked out of class today. It's the third student-led national walkout against gun violence following the deadly shootings in Parkland, Florida. And today's walkout holds significance for two schools. Today marks 19 years since 13 people were shot and killed at Columbine High. The school was closed, as it is every year, on the anniversary of the 1999 shooting. Students and community members spent the day serving others. And today also marks 1 month since 17-year-old Jalen Willie was shot at Great Mills High. She was taken off life support days later. Those two incidents were likely on students' minds as they left schools today in protest. Joining me now are some of the students who participated in today's walkouts. Daniel Green is a student at Edmund Burke School here in D.C. Michaela Latimer attends Long Reach High in Columbia, Maryland. Rebecca Heimbrock goes to Middletown High just outside of Frederick. And Anaya Smith is a senior at Wakefield High in Arlington, Virginia. Everybody take a deep breath. It's been a long day. It started early and you're still going, and we're really grateful that you decided to come in and talk to us today. I guess I'm just wondering, what prompted you to walk out yet again today?
So for me, this idea of it's still a movement that is still at the forefront of our minds. The anniversary of Columbine kind of marks the beginning of the idea that we're never safe in our schools, we're never safe really anywhere. And so the anniversary is a good time as any to remind people that we're still fighting, we're still going strong, and we're not going to let this issue die just because we've had 1 or 2 marches. It's going to be an issue until it's finally solved.
Were you thinking about that today, Michaela?
Yeah, for me it was definitely about being involved and having a voice, sharing this, but it was also about the underrepresentation that the different marginalized communities receive everyday gun violence, and I think it's just as important to show up for them as well while we honor the victims of mass shootings.
Rebecca, you're among the youngest in the group here. You're a freshman. What made you decide to step out today?
Well, I have 3 more years of high school, 3 more years of worrying whether or not I'm going to be shot in school, so I think it's important for me to go ahead and make my voice heard and make a plea to my representatives and say, I need you to pass gun control legislation now.
Anaya, you have a shirt on that kind of says everything. It says, am I next?
Yeah.
With a bullseye in the middle.
Yeah, I think like Michaela mentioned, as minorities, we definitely are underrepresented in this movement. And I wear the shirt not only because I'm a black female and automatically have a target on my back, but because of the fact that not only when I'm walking the streets, but when I'm going into my school now, I feel like I can be targeted and become a victim of gun violence. And up until the past few years, honestly, I didn't feel like that. And I wear this shirt because my little brother and little sister can't. And I know that they still have to go to these schools even after I leave. And so today, when everyone was like, don't walk out, stay in school, you've got to get good grades, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, I was like, no. The only thing I have to do is make sure that I'm fighting not only for myself, but for the people I care about, because that's the most important thing.
You guys have all talked about this sense of community, the school community, your family community, this need to kind of pull together as a community. What's it like for you to go into school and not know what the end result is going to be each day? I didn't grow up having gun violence or shooting drills, but you do, and you have to know what to do. You've all mentioned that. What's that like for you? Michaela?
I mean, it was especially scary when the shooting at Great Mills, it was in Maryland, and everybody saw that, and then they saw the state, and then they saw that that was like an hour away, and it just gets closer and closer to home. And especially when at one of the walkouts at our schools, one of the questions that was asked is, before this, how many of you have been afraid of gun violence before? And a lot of the students raised their hands, and it was like this wouldn't have been a thing, 30 years ago, but now it's something
Were the rest of you afraid of gun violence? Were you afraid of gun violence?
I mean, certainly. I think it's a sad and kind of unspoken truth that at least on a regular basis you go into a classroom and you think, what would be my escape plan, or what would I do if someone walked in? And that is a reality that is only a reality in the United States, and that is because of a gun culture unlike any other rules that we have unlike any others. And I think it's just, we're done with it. It's about time to change that.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Exactly.
Enough is enough. So what do you hope will change as a result of this? Because I think what we've seen with all of these movements is young people like you have decided we're not waiting for the adults to do it. We're going to make it happen. Yeah. What it needs to change?
I think that we need to change the entire culture in America around guns. I think that there's a total dependence on guns, and I mean, coming as from a family that hunts, I get it. I get you want to own a rifle, you want to hunt deer, whatever, and that's fine, but no one needs an AR-15. And that's the kind of toxic culture of America, so I would like to see part of that change, I think.
I completely agree with what Rebecca is saying. America has this reputation as being a country, you know, soaked in indulgence, and I think that that's completely true. No one needs an AR-15, but kids do need to feel safe going to school. You know, America often says we're fighting for freedom, and that when we are saying that we want AR-15s to be banned, that we are taking away their Second Amendment right, that that's un-American, that we're infringing upon their freedom, when in reality, us children who for the past 12 years, for people like myself and David, have had to feel like prisoners in schools because no one is listening to us. I think more than anything, we want the nation to realize that we are serious about stricter gun control laws, on AR-15 bans on bump stocks, on, you know, bans on the amount of ammunition that you can carry. And number two, I think that we want the nation to realize that our generation is nothing to mess around with, because we are serious and we are here.
Well, we think that that's been made clear by not just you, but young people around the country. I just want to tell you to keep it up and have your voice heard, regardless of where you stand. The fact that you have clarity and power in your own voices, and you know how you want the country to change and things to be better for you, and not just for you, but for other people, is admirable. So thank you for staying up this very, very long day to talk to us about something that's very important to all of you. You know, Columbine ushered in what's become a painful new normal. Coming up, the impact of gun violence on children across the country since that fateful day.